So my husband and I made the leap of faith to escape our blue state of Washington, which has been the best blessing of our life, and move to Wyoming. But don't worry, I know it doesn't exist, so don't come here. But what I've realized is since moving here, you don't realize how crazy this toxic bubble that you live in for so long because it's such normalcy until you actually are able to get away from it and get out of that bubble and see how insane everything really is. Living in Wyoming this as long as we have, it hasn't even been a year. It's Sunday today. Everything is closed. People are doing yard work, spending time with their family, going to church. It's such a different, it's the way that it's supposed to be. In my opinion, it's the way that it's supposed to be. Everybody here is hardworking, neighborly. It is just such a different pace of life. You don't realize how toxic of an environment you're living in. This is the moral of the story. And I swear, moving out of a blue state into a red state is now becoming like my personality because it's soul giving. It's soul giving. Here's a list of things I don't worry about now that I moved out of blue state into a red state. I don't worry about my kid being kidnapped. I don't worry about the homeless that might break into my car. I don't worry about homeless encampments on, any activity outside that I would want to do if they're camped near a lake or a stream or everywhere. Like, you want to go for a walk? Well, there's an encampment. Good luck. The safety. Living in a red state is so much safer. So much safer, because I guarantee you, if there's one little screw loose and somebody trying to attack somebody or steal their groceries or kidnap their kid, you got a swarm of bees around you protecting you. I guarantee you there would be like freaking 5 or 10 cowboys going, I've got you. Absolutely not. And everyone's packing. Everyone. Fucking love it. I fucking love it. It's how America should be, because you have people with, mind you, every state, you have, people are people, okay? Let's just make that clear. I am not ignorant to the fact that there are good guys and bad guys. There are people with screws loose that probably shouldn't have their pew-pews. And there are people that have the education behind it. They have all the bells and whistles that they should. They have the knowledge. They have, they've earned the right to carry. Okay, let's just be clear. So I am not that ignorant of a girl. However, if you don't have the education, you shouldn't carry, period. That's why I don't carry yet. But you bet your butt my husband does. So living in a place where you don't have to worry so much about so many little things. Oh my God, there's just so many more. Like, there isn't trash everywhere. Yeah, Wyoming has wind. It blows things from other people's yard into other people's yard. I go around picking up trash that blew into my yard, whatever. But there's not just like nasty. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Drive through Seattle. Just drive on the freeway and look on the side of the freeway. It's disgusting. I've never seen so much trash in my life. And the first time I realized this was actually when I came home from a trip to Whistler, driving through Canada, seeing how clean and pristine their roads were and just there wasn't garbage anywhere. And you drove back down into Seattle and you realized what a shithole it was. Like, oh my God. But the crime rate is so not here. Okay. Now, I'm sure there's people that live here going, oh my gosh, there's so many more people here. The crime is out of control, whatever. But compared to a blue state, this is heaven on earth. Heaven on earth. There are so many places for you to go out in the wilderness with your family. There's so many opportunities for you to go play with your kiddos. There's so many different play areas. Like, it's so family oriented that you have so many options. I can't even express it enough. It's in my soul. So thank you, Wyoming, for being such a beautiful state and having pride in keeping it tried and true, like keeping it true to just the way that you guys are here. I'm just so humbled and thankful to be here. And the second you get out of the bubble of a blue state, the second you start to see so much clearer how things should be, and there's no pushback on how things should be, because everyone has that way of life here where, because it makes sense. I'm sorry, but it just makes fucking sense. Okay.
Now, this right here is something a lot of people don't want to admit out loud. Sometimes you stay in an environment so long, you start thinking chaos is normal. Stress becomes normal, crime becomes normal, trash everywhere becomes normal. And then the second you finally step outside that bubble, your whole perspective changes. This woman said moving from Washington to Wyoming changed her life. And honestly, the deeper message isn't even political. It's about peace. It's about safety. It's about wanting a slower life where families actually spend time together instead of surviving constant pressure and dysfunction. Think about what she described. People outside with their kids, neighbors knowing each other, streets that are clean, communities where people still look out for one another. That's what a lot of Americans feel like they've been missing for years. And whether people agree with her politics or not, you can hear something real in her voice, relief, like somebody finally took a deep breath after holding it in for years. Because the truth is, a lot of people are exhausted. Exhausted from crime going up. Exhausted from homelessness taking over entire areas. Exhausted from governments spending millions while everyday people feel less safe than ever. Now, obviously, every state has good people and bad people. No place is perfect. But when ordinary families start saying, I can finally relax here, boy, that says something important. And honestly, one of the biggest problems today is that people are afraid to even say they want order, safety, and strong communities without immediately being attacked online. Wanting clean streets is not hateful. Wanting safe neighborhoods is not extreme. Wanting your kids to grow up around stability instead of chaos should not be controversial. That's why videos like this are blowing up, because people relate to the feeling behind it. The feeling of escaping stress and finally finding peace again. At the end of the day, most people don't care about political slogans every single hour of the day. They care about real life. Can their kids play outside safely? Can families afford to live? Can communities stay clean? Can neighbors trust each other? That's what really matters. And maybe that's why more and more people are starting to rethink where they live, what they support, and what kind of future they actually want for their families. Because when people finally experience peace, they don't want to go